Welcome to the Record Celtic podcast, brought to you by NordVPN. My name is Daniel Comm. Delighted, as always, to be joined by my Record Sport colleagues, Michael Gannon and Ryan McDonald. Guys, happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Dan the man. Happy Monday, Mick.
Hello, Monday. Yeah, weary Monday. Weary Monday. Happy Monday. What a weekend. What a weekend again. An absolute drama at every turn, wasn't it?
Left, right and centre.
Tremendous stuff. It's certainly listen, we know there's a lack of kind of quality across the Scottish football this season and beyond, but it's you can't fault the drama. When I was at Parkhead Saturday, then I was at Easter Road on Sunday. Tremendous scenes all over the shop. It was wild. It'd be good fun. I hate to lie in a dark room right enough, but apart from that.
Parkhead, I guess, and Saturday's the best place for us to start. Celtic, a victory is all that was required. Were you there as well, Ryan? Did you manage to go to the game? Or?
Yeah, I was there, yeah.
What did you make of the performance? Obviously a victory, 3 points, great strike from Tierney. Dyson Maida looks like he's back to somewhere near his best. But overall, what did you make of
it? Well, first of all, what I would say is the atmosphere was, it was bouncing, it was electric. That's the best atmosphere I've had at Celtic Park this season, by far. And I'd even put, the Celtic Rangers game in New Year and the European games as well. I thought the game began...
A lot of drunk folk, wasn't there, Ryan? That a wee sunny day, 5:30 kickoff. I don't know about you, but I've not think I've seen that many drunk folks since Tina Park in 2004. drunk and sunburnt.
Drunk and sunburnt. I think a few people have got the factor 50.
Yeah.
No, the atmosphere though was absolutely bouncing. It was a real kind of, I think, Mick. I think you wrote about it in your spread, Mick, after the game. There seems to be a real unity back at Celtic Park. And that's a massive factor. I thought the Green Brigade, not even from the first whistle, but from outside the front door for the players coming in, there was thousands of fans outside rallying the team as it came in. About 15, 20 minutes building up to kick-off. The place was electric. And pretty much from the first whistle as well, the full stadium was really behind the team. There was a lot of people were on their feet, singing and dancing, and it really created a special atmosphere. And I think the players definitely felt that, gave them an extra 2 or 3%. And I thought Celtic, they were much improved compared to what we've seen in previous games, previous months, pretty much all season. Dyson Maida, I don't think it's any coincidence that he's come back to form as he's chasing probably a big money move this summer window, and obviously he's getting an eye in the World Cup as well, which I'm sure will give him a platform to put himself in the transfer window. So if he can play like that, then Celtic are on to a winner. He's coming back to form at the absolute perfect time. I thought he was sensational, just like he was against St Mirren last week at Hampden. He harried down every ball. He's forced 2 errors from St Mirren as well, which led to 2 goals for Celtic. So he looks right up for it at the perfect time, and he really could be the talisman that kind of sparks Celtic into life and gets them over the line. It was a big clamour for Kelechi and Achel to start, but I think Dyson Maida's the man you start through the middle, and Kelechi comes off the bench to make an impact or chase a goal if Celtic are needing one. But yeah, it was much improved. I think the results, obviously, on Sunday as well, will give Celtic a lot of optimism. They've moved up a place into second. They're 3 points behind Hearts still, but with 4 games to go, they're in a much better place than they were when they started the weekend. So yeah, I think it was a great weekend for a Celtic perspective. I think Martin will be pretty chuffed, and they just need to keep building momentum. I think they just need to 4 cup finals ahead now, and they need to win all 4 of them.
Mick, I think Ryan makes a good point about the Green Brigade, because certainly I held the opinion that maybe if things didn't go according to plan, the Green Brigade back, it could maybe turn toxic. But before the game kicked off at the weekend, it looked to me, those scenes, it was like when a Celtic team are being heralded in to lift the trophy. Look the trophy day. And I thought the support was amazing. I do think it made a difference at the weekend.
Yeah, that's what Bojami Sinasalo said. Actually, we were talking after the game. He said it felt like trophy day at the start of the season. They cheered in. Listen, it wasn't just the Green Brigade, but there's only was only 250 that were banned, I think it was. But the PR of them having them back in, and they are the ones that kind of start a lot of the sing-songs. But I thought the whole place, as Ryan was saying, I think the whole place was behind the team. Interestingly, I actually thought was they stuck by the team. Celtic inevitably, the way this team is, it can't control games for 90 minutes. It just doesn't do it. And then a wee 5-minute spell before Falkirk scored, they did score. By the way, the goal they scored was an absolute screamer. I mean, it was a brilliant. But during that period, you could tell that Falkirk had got a wee grip out of the game. I thought Martin Neal probably should have made the substitutions at that point. I thought he was 5 minutes too late with his subs. Usually would change at that point, but he was a wee bit, I think it was 5 minutes behind schedule, making a few changes to get the game going again. But Falkirk pounced. At that point, I think maybe 6 weeks ago, the place would have turned. I think it would have been a wee bit more kind of volatile. I think the guys in the board, director's box might have been getting a bit of flack. That would have been the turning point. Listen, but they stuck by the team. I thought the fans did stay on board. They got behind the side again. Listen, the nerves were frayed at that point. I mean, there's no denying it. There was a lot of nerves. People were chewing their fingernails, and you could feel the tension. But for that period, I thought they did well. They made the subs, made a difference, and then they got control of the game again. And the third goal was absolutely crucial, getting that goal just to settle it for the last kind of 7 or 8, 10 minutes. Could have done one or two and made a kind of hat trick. I thought it was a good display. I thought Celtic played better. I thought the first half was a wee bit chaotic, but I thought the pressurising and the intensity was good for Celtic. They won the ball high up the pitch. I don't think you can underestimate Engels coming back in there. And not just because, I think Tyson Maida coming back to form is obviously a big deal, because if he's playing that way and harassing defenders, they're nerves all day, and he creates chances and you win the ball high at the pitch. But I think he's been able to do that because Arne Engels is much more structured behind him. Mm-hmm. Engels is pressing in behind. If you watch Engels, I thought he was really proactive, Engels, off the ball. I thought he was good on the ball. I think he controls the play much better than a lot of the guys in there. But what he did, he was pressing in behind Maida as well, which meant the whole team got up the pitch, meant the winning the ball far higher up the park. I mean, he's what is it, the old Mark Warburton phrase? His pitch geography is tremendous. Great pitch geography, Arne Engels. I don't know what name at the time. No, I understand what Mark Warburton was saying. He's always the right place, right time. Engels, he's good at that. So it's not always flashy. It's not always pinging 40-yard balls or slipping balls to the middle. He can do that, but a lot of it's just being in the right position. And he allowed Maida to go and charge. Because a lot of times when Maida was charging in recent months, he would charge and try and block down, maybe not come off, but there's nobody behind him to back him up. So you're not getting the second ball behind him. So whereas in the previous years with Celtic, they go and press, and even if they don't get that first contact, there's the next pass is getting shut down as well. It's not happening with Celtic. The midfield hasn't been functioning properly. The midfield has been basically the kind of engine of ourselves for years, pressing those second passes. So if they do get beyond Maida's trap, the next one's going to get him. Not happened this season. It happened on Saturday. Engels was doing it. He was up the park. It allowed McGregor to sit in control without having to put out fires every 5 minutes because he controls the ball better. I just think Engels' return was actually not really a big, fancy, showy kind of display, but I think it really did make an impact in there. I think it helped Celtic in terms of the shape, the pressing, and eventually the pressure. I don't think it was a perfect performance. I still think it's a bit haphazard at times, and it's relying on moments rather than combinations in play. But it's definitely a system. I think O'Neill's now found, right, you know what, that's about as good as we're going to get. That's my workaround. So that's what we're going to do. And I can change things. I've got in the actual, I've got Taneke on the bench. Forrest can start, or he can come off the bench. I've got Sriracha can come on for Tierney. I've got guys that Johnson coming back's a major thing as well, because he'll give him an attacking outlet in the right if he can get fully fit. I know it's hard now, but he saw it in the last 15, 20 minutes. He was good. Mm-hmm. So he's got a system now. You think, you know what? It's not perfect, but it might work. This might work for the last 4 games. Well, it's going to have to, isn't it? It's going to have to.
Not got much of a choice. I thought, obviously, we talked a lot about who was playing and who played well at the weekend, but I thought it was intriguing. Now, when the Celtic team comes out on social media, I'm always quick to look who's not in the squad, if you know what I mean. And it was Chavan Chara again this week. I think for the second game in a row, couldn't even make the bench. And Mick, I know you wrote something for Record Sport Online about Rio Hatate. You said just before we come on air, how many minutes has it he's played in the last 4 games.
He's only played 70 minutes in the last 4 games. Obviously not started the last 4 games, and he's only on the bench fleetingly. We said that last week at Hampden, that not going to him at any point in time when the game was slipping away from Celtic, the second half was interesting.
Aye. Not
getting involved again at the weekend, you think, right, okay, it's not just a horse for courses game decision. This is a wider thing. I just think O'Neill finds that Hatate, like every other Celtic manager, is that he can't rely on him to keep the ball well enough, and he wants that bit more control in the middle of the park to try and minimise the chaos. That's what I'm talking about. Arne Engels, he doesn't give the ball away as much. But whereas Hatate, he can turn it on, but it puts a lot of pressure on others, and you lose that structure. You lose that. I'm talking about that Arne Engels pressing in behind. So I just think he's slipping down the pecking order. And I don't think he'll write him off. I don't think that's what we called it, the Balak suite. I don't think he's going fully in there just yet. He's going to be completely bombed out along with Chankara and Adamu and Vuka and Bernardo, the kind of crowded Balak suite. But I think Neil, as I said a minute ago, he stumbled across a kind of a setup information I think he likes. Oxley Chamberlain can come on and bolster it as well and keep the ball. I just think Hatate, it looks like the writing's on the wall for him a wee bit, but you never know because 4 games to go, things can happen in games. I don't think you'll write him off completely, but I don't know what you think, Ryan. I just think I get the feeling that O'Neill, like every other Celtic manager, thinks this guy's good, but he's too stressful.
That's luxury, aye.
No, that was the thing. Brendan Rodgers, when he first came back to Celtic, I think he said that Rio Hatate used to frustrate the life out of him because he was so sloppy in possession. So Martin O'Neill probably thinks the same way. So, look, I think Hatate had a purple patch, I think, around about the 4 games away from home, around about the Ibrox double-header as well. He really came back to form. People thought, oh, here we go, this is the real Rio Hatate, but he slipped out of favour again. And I think, like Mick says, I think Martin O'Neill has now found the ideal combination in midfield. You've got the captain, Callum McGregor, either side of him. You've got the goal scorer, Benjamin Nygren, and then you've got Arne Engels, who Nottingham Forest bid £25 million for in January, so he must be a decent player. So I think that's the midfield three he's likely to stick with. You know, you've got Oxley Chamberlain coming off the bench as well, who can make a difference. He's come up with 2 crucial winners, of course, hasn't he? So I think a big thing for me as well was at Celtic now, I was looking at that bench. I mean, you talk about, obviously, the 4 loan signings or 5 loan signings in January weren't involved at all in the matchday squad, which is damning. And it really shows you where Celtic recruitment has gone wrong, not just in the summer window, but the January window. And what
I know. Sorry, Ryan, to jump in. I know we've talked about this so many times. That's just madness. You know how much Celtic were crying out, desperate for the January window, and all 5 of them aren't playing. It's just mad. Sorry, I know I'm repeating myself, but
I think from the evidence of what we've all seen, I don't think any of them are up to it.
Oh no, sorry, that's what I mean. No, I think they were right not to be playing. I just think the players that were brought in just nowhere near the standard needed.
It's a blessing in disguise that Celtic didn't end up forking out £3 or £4 million for Joe Vuka, which they were intending to do before a last minute change of mind, perhaps due to a medical issue, whatever it was flagged. But back to the kind of midfield, I think, and just I was looking at the bench on Saturday as well. It's a strong bench. You know, you've got Ian Atchell who can come off and score a goal. You've got Alistair Johnson who's making his injury comeback. You've got a former Champions League and Premier League winner, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who I've already said is capable of producing the big moments. You've got Seb Tenetke, who I've always said you'll never get a 90-minute performance out of him. I don't think he's ever convinced me when he started a game, but he makes a difference from the bench time and time again. He comes up with that brilliant assist for the 3rd goal as well for Dyson. So you get Marcelo Sirache, who I think has perhaps been underused a wee bit by Martin O'Neill at the moment, but you know, then again, Kieran Tierney scores that thunderbolt as well. So, and then Luke McCowan, he's just signed a new deal. Martin O'Neill clearly rates him, and then we're talking about Rio Hatate as well, who, you know, he's still got, you'd think he's still got something to offer. He's still a quality player, but obviously there's at the minute there's better options ahead of him. So I think things are just starting to come together for Celtic. And just on that midfield again at the weekend, I thought there was nice combinations of play as well. There was some nice one-touch passing and things just seem to be clicking for Celtic at different times. I think what Mick said about Arne Engels is spot on as well. I just think he's an immediate upgrade in that engine room, and Celtic have sorely missed him over the last couple of months. So I think it's going to be a massive run in, and I think momentum is swinging in Celtic's favour.
You just reminded me there when you said in Vuka that I was thinking during the game at the weekend. Mick, I don't know if it might have been you who told me this, but I remember hearing in January that there was a whisper that maybe Celtic were looking at Calvin Miller. And I thought the weekend again he was brilliant. And I don't know, he's available for a free at the end of the season. I think Celtic could do a lot worse than bring him in, but I'll bring him back now. But
listen, I think he's a cracking player, a brilliant season. I know there was talk about that. I mean, it was denied, and it was.
Aye.
People say that no, it was definitely an interest. It wouldn't surprise me if there was. I mean, the panic stations at Celtic the last couple of days of the window wouldn't surprise me. Looking at going Calvin Harris, Calvin Miller. But it was chaos that last 48 hours. So yeah, I think maybe his age doesn't fit the profile. Celtic was through looking at 23, 24-year-old guys with 100 appearances at a decent level. That's their profile. So he doesn't fit the profile for Celtic. But they've wandered away from their own model. So who knows? So I doubt it. I just wonder if Celtic regret letting go Johnny Kenny. He's just scored these last 5 games in a row for Bolton. Listen, by the way, he's the only guy that's actually scored a goal for Martin Neil. He scored 4 in his 7 games previously in his first spell in charge. I'm not sure Neil rated him that highly. I think he wanted an upgrade. It turns out that he's another one of these Celtic players that are better when they leave.
No.
People were like, "Oh, Adamida's rubbish," no, and then 6 months later, I should never have sold Adamida. It's like this guy is hopeless. I should never have sold him. And the ones that have come in just haven't done it. But listen, they are where they are now. It's what happens now. The big question I want to ask you boys is, now it's next weekend. Celtic need to win their games, right? We beat Hibs on Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. But Hearts against Rangers on the Monday night. What's the result is that Celtic fans should be wanting? Should they want Rangers to beat Hearts?
I mean, I know Celtic fans have probably never wanted Rangers to win a single point, but I think they've got to take something from Tynecastle on Monday night. I think probably an ideal scenario would be for Hearts and Rangers to draw, and that would leave Rangers. That would pretty much rule Rangers out of contention if Celtic were to beat them.
Yeah, but also, the draw. Sorry, I drop it. You think that the draw would put Rangers out of contention?
It would. If Rangers were to draw and Celtic were to beat Rangers the following week at Parkhead, that would be them out of contention. It would be down to a 2-horse race. Yeah. And I think if there was just 1 point in it, and if Celtic were to win their remaining games, building up to that final league decider at Celtic Park between Hearts and Celtic, then I think, I'd back Celtic to do the job. Being in mind as well, Hearts have still to play Motherwell. I know Celtic have still got to go to Fir Park, but Motherwell are capable. They scored 3 goals at Tynecastle as well at the start of the season, so they'll have a score to settle with Hearts. So I don't think they've beaten Hearts this season. So I've said it for the last 3 weeks. I think that Celtic are on course for a double. Some people have laughed off that suggestion, but I just think it's going to happen. I just think this Martin O'Neill team, there's just something about Martin O'Neill that he's capable of getting this, maximising what is a pretty inferior team to dragging results, getting wins every single week, and potentially dragging them over the line. I just think there's something in the air at the minute.
Listen, you're dodging the question here. A draw would be the best result for Celtic fans and Celtic, obviously, next week. But if it's got to be one winner on the night, should Celtic fans be sitting with the blue scarves out and cheering on Rangers, or do they want Hearts to knock Rangers out of the equation altogether? But if Hearts beat Rangers next Monday night, that puts them in I think Hearts are 7 points from the title.
Aye.
At this point in time.
Yeah, right now.
So a victory against Rangers puts them 4 points away from, and by the way, it could come down to Celtic against Hearts in the last day of the season. Celtic need to win, Hearts need a draw, and Celtic may need to score 2 or 3 goals as well.
Aye.
That's a tough situation. So
I think the goal difference there.
I've seen a lot of people saying last night, Rangers are going to get put out of the title race next week by Hearts. Yeah, but then Hearts get the points.
Aye.
Now at the stage where the points, I say Hearts are really, really close. I think Hearts now, that was a huge win for Hearts on Sunday. I mean, all right, I don't think they were great. I mean, I keep saying it. Listen, the caveat is Hearts have done brilliant. Fair play to them. They've had an outstanding season, but they don't half carrying some luck, by the way. I mean, if I was getting two men idiotically sent off and then huffing and puffing and getting an own goal and a deflection. I was there yesterday, and listen, some scenes, the Hearts fans at the end, it was incredible. I mean, what a sight! But you just think, is this destiny? Is it fate? Is it written in the stars? I mean, listen, Celtic fans and Celtic were thinking that Martin O'Neill being back, it's written in the stars for Martin O'Neill to do and do it. But when watching Hearts a lot of games this season and seeing the kind of outrageous twists of fortune, you think maybe this is the kind of the flip side of the spirit of '86. Maybe this is their time. Maybe this is Hearts' time to kind of.
This is the revenge of '86, maybe.
Genuinely, things that are going their way at times has been incredible. Listen, I'm not taking it away from the fact that they've been brilliant, right? And they've got players that are stepping up and producing the goods when it matters. They're winning games that matter, and fair play to them, right? But maybe that wee bit of fortune helps them as well. But I just think if Hearts beat Rangers next week, it might take Rangers off the table, but it creates a whole problem for Celtic. Because they've got Rangers having to win. I think if there's a draw or a Rangers win, so they can afford to draw against Rangers and then win the next two, might make enough. I think Celtic might have to win all four, to be fair to you. Rangers need to win all four as well. Rangers can win all four now and not win the league.
Not win the league, aye. You're right.
So I think maybe Celtic fans need to stop thinking about Rangers and think, Hearts are the ones now that have to be denied points. So I think Celtic fans should get on the blue bonnets and the big blue mics, scarves, and we're cheering on their old chums from across the city.
And do you know what?
The old friends, are we?
The thing is, I mean, the league could effectively be over this weekend because.
Well, this is what I was going to say, Ryan. I'm worried about this Celtic team against Hibs because it feels to me like this is the exact kind of thing this Celtic team might do. You feel like they've kind of made us back and they're back on track and Martin, and then they lose at Easter Road. It doesn't seem that far-fetched to me with a Celtic team. And if they do lose, then Hearts beat Rangers. Hearts will be 6 points clear with three to play. All over.
They've got a goal difference advantage as well. I think they're 6 goals clear at the minute. So
I keep putting that league table up, but you can see that the goal difference 5 better than Celtic.
5 better it is, yeah.
And Celtic, I didn't realise. Rangers are 8 goals better than Celtic. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. It just changes weekend by weekend, game by game, and yeah, like you say, the league could actually effectively be over this weekend if results they go in Hearts' favour. But I don't know. For me, I think it's just going to go down to the final day. I can see it becoming a 2-horse race, and it'd be a final day shootout between Celtic and Hearts at Celtic Park. But Martin Engels lost a league title and goal difference before in 2003. Celtic fans will remember that all too well. And you just wonder, you're talking about being written in the stars for Hearts if it could happen again, and Hearts end up winning the league by goal difference. Imagine there's 3 points getting a difference in that final day, and Celtic need to, I don't know, reduce the goal difference by 3 goals. Would they be able to do it? You just don't know. So
what was 2005 that I know obviously was that point to Rangers? Was that wasn't goal difference though?
Yeah, it was one Mikel Arteta's penalty. I think settled it was 1 goal that separated Rangers and Celtic in 2003. Year Rangers won a treble. So
Martin O'Neill's never lost a title for Celtic unless it's in the final day.
Unless it's the final day, yeah.
That's pretty mad when you think about it.
It's happened, yeah.
Look, do either of you share my concerns that maybe Celtic will go to Easter Road and not pass?
Listen, 100%, Dan. I mean, I think it can be underestimated. The level of task going to Easter Road. Celtic it's not been a happy hunting ground for Celtic in recent years. I think Brendan Rodgers only won there once, if memory serves me right. I think it was in his entire Celtic career. So Hibs have always made it difficult since been promoted a few years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's always been a tricky venue for Celtic, and look, it's a difficult one. We were talking about it before we came on here. Hibs fans, they won't really know how to cheer on if they score. Well, they won't. I doubt they'll be properly celebrating because they'll know that will give Hearts an advantage in the title race.
They'll be booing. Never mind celebrating, they'll be booing.
Whereas if Celtic score, they might think, well, it's not the end of the world. But the thing is, they're trying to play catch up with Motherwell in fourth place as well. They've got European aspirations. So, but if you were to give Hibs fans the choice of finishing fourth or Hearts winning the league, I think they would probably fifth. Sorry, Hibs finishing fifth or Hearts winning the league, I think they would probably choose fifth place. But who am I to say that? But yeah, it's going to be a really difficult game for Celtic. I think Hibs players will still be up for it. I don't think they're going to take the foot off the gas. But Celtic just need to win.
Mick, will they go to Easter Road and win?
I think they will. I mean, Hibs. I mean, look, they absolutely were despondent after yesterday, Easter Road. I mean, I thought they were poor. I mean, they weren't helped. They were pretty brave with 9 men, and they were quite resilient and hung on there, just backs to the wall, really. But lost their discipline. They couldn't keep the ball. I mean, even with 10 men, you need times to keep the ball. Gets a breather. Never did it. Couldn't keep the ball. I just think that Celtic go at them. I think they could get them and roll them fairly. It depends on how they start the game. I think their race is run. They look as though they're not going to catch Motherwell now. I mean, obviously they've still got Rangers to play as well, and Motherwell. So I just think their race is run. So Celtic should go. And I don't even think Hibs fans will be even confused. I think Hibs fans will be actively encouraging Celtic to go and win because they couldn't do it themselves. I mean, if Hearts hadn't won against 9 men yesterday, they would have been absolutely distraught. Even a point, I think they would have been distraught. So, but the win was huge. I think Celtic should go and win. I think getting the game in early as well. I mean, Celtic have been playing catch up a lot this season in terms of their scheduling. So getting the game in early and then sitting back and watching what happens on Monday night is going to be a pretty much a bonus. I think they got the benefit of that this last weekend. So I think it'll be another one of these games in the balance. So it's not going to be a game Celtic go out and win 4-0 and put the feet up. It's just not the way it's been this season. I don't see it happening again. And that would be the ideal result, right enough, in terms of goal difference, wouldn't it? I just think there's more. I think there's more twists to come. I'm saying 80 points wins the league. I think it might even be 76, 77. Might even be less, because I think there's going to be, like, Motherwell are going to be a nuisance to everyone. We all thought their season was finished, and they go and play like that at Ibrox on Sunday. I mean, brilliant. I mean, Rangers again will be kicking themselves. I thought Rangers were the ones in a position who would probably kick on and win the title, but now they're right up against it now. Against it. They need to go and win. I mean, they win at Parkhead, which is they did it the new year, but Celtic are a different animal to that team. And if Celtic if they get in a position where a draw might even be all right, they can play a certain way that might not be up to Rangers, may not suit them. So yeah, there's a lot to happen. I think I still think there's points to drop left, right, and centre here, on the way in.
I spoke the other night on Hotline Live to Tam McManus, obviously Hibs legend and whatever, and I was trying to taint it. I didn't want to question his sporting integrity by saying, look, if you're playing for Hibs, would you lie down against Celtic? And I was trying to keep around it, and he just jumped in and went, mate, I'd lie down right away. Can you have Hearts winning this league? And he was like, no ambiguity at all. Lie down. Hearts can't win it.
I saw Tam yesterday at Easter Road, and I had to console him. I had to make sure there's no sharp objects. I've jumped up off that tier in the top stand. And he looked, he was a man distraught. He was a man completely.
Understandably,
the fear in his face after that final whistle.
I tell you, who certainly didn't lie down at Ibrox yesterday, Stephen Welsh. You see his celebration?
He definitely enjoyed it, didn't he? He absolutely loved every second of it.
Yeah, it's a great season, big Stephen Welsh, right enough.
I think it's been good he's went out and played football.
Another one that perhaps has become a much better player when not playing with Celtic. There have been times this season he might have been handy as well. But
I mean, he certainly played his part in the title race because he scored that equaliser against Rangers at Falkirk, and then before he came off injured at Ibrox the weekend, he was excellent. So he certainly played his part, albeit in a from a Motherwell jersey.
Yeah, and you can't play against Celtic obviously next midweek, week after next. So it'll be interesting.
Guys, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in I nearly said hotline on the Record Celtic podcast. Sorry, that was force of habit. Brought to you by NordVPN. Mick, Ryan, it's always an absolute pleasure.
No worries.
I'm sure we'll have plenty of twists and turns, Mick, in the coming weeks, and we'll be talking about it all here on the Record Celtic podcast.
Everything got to Old Firm tickets, or do that for next week's fun.
Why don't you two clear your diaries? We'll just do this all day.
I'm going to carry it first.
Next week, excellent. Thanks very much for watching and listening at home. And as I say, we'll be back next week on the Record Celtic podcast. Cheers.